throw my tape on. Then I'll watch you. 3 seconds later, I got you, shaking your head, dancing instead. The beat kicks, the rhyme's hitting like a home run, slamming like a slam dunk. Ride the wave, the James Brown pay funk, happened to James like it happened to me. How do you think it feels to see another MC get paid? Using my rap.
Yeah, baby.
That was amazing.
Darren Carter, the party starter.
Oh, thank you.
Come on, buddy.
Thank you, Fraser. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So good to be here.
Man, it's good to see you. I was telling the guys that you have 3 or 4 of my favorite stories of all time.
Yes, I do.
We're not going to tell them all at one time, obviously, but basically, I love the story about the rap radio show that you had in Fresno.
Yes.
That was a good show, a good story. And then the other story was when you found the gun in the restroom at the restaurant. That was a good story. Yeah, but my favorite, and we're going to save it till the end.
Yeah.
The banquet story.
Okay, gosh. Oh, man, I love these stories. Some of them I don't remember. Okay, which one do you want to start with?
You remember the banquet one, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That was his first big gig, and it was a classic. Well, first of all, let me ask how you when and how you first got your nickname, the Party Star.
Okay, so I used to be a DJ in Fresno,
right?
And they would, and I noticed like back then all the DJs had like this cool rap thing where they'd be like, "Hi, I'm Darren Carter, the party starter, throwing down and throwing up. Look at who I'm through. Look out, streets, my feet are about to hit ya." And I'd say, and it'd go on and on, because I'm talking hard hitting, heavy working, sledgehammer, jackhammer, dirty fingernail, lunch pail, tobacco, chewing, cyber, taping, cussing, cursing, swearing, spitting, stomping, gunning, running, tutting, hoot, shooting, whatever. It would just go on and on and on and on. And that was a big thing that I would like to do. And then I'd be like, "Because I'm Darren Carter, the party starter." And I remember when I walked into the Punchline in San Francisco, Margaret Cho saw me, and she goes, "Darren Carter, party starter." And I was like, wow.
She had heard it?
She'd heard my name. Like, she knows my... So from then on, I was like, that's kind of cool. And like an idiot, I stopped doing it for like 10 years, and then I brought it back, and it's great. It's a great way for people to remember me.
I love it, and I love the story where you said you would go on and on the station, and then you'd look out the window.
So I got to do like the overnight shifts, and I'd be like... I would try to be like these big LA radio stations, and I'd be like, "I'm Darren, but the ladies know me as Daron." That's right, we out here in hip hop, where hip hop lives. But then you'd like take off the headphones and look out the window, and there'd be like tractors and trains and cows, because we'd be at the edge of like Clovis Boulevard. Yeah.
Were the cows kind of fans of the show? Darren Carter's with us, the party star. By the way, I sent a text to you one time because I saw that there was a Canadian Football League player named Darren Carter.
Dude, I'm telling you, Darren Carter. Okay, so for a while, that guy I think was in England. There was another. Well, maybe he got transferred, but I would see that my name would come up on Twitter like Darren Carter, and I'd be like, "Oh wow, cool." And then I looked, and it was this younger guy, like he had like a 6-pack and he was about 24, and I'm like, oh, no wonder like he has all these hot girls following him. Like he's a soccer player. Yeah, Fraser, imagine if there was like a bodybuilder named Fraser Smith who was like part of a boy band.
That probably
That'd
won't
be awesome.
Now, but that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's already happened.
What about rap radio? Is that how you got into stand-up comedy?
Yeah, kind of, because I wanted to be a DJ and I wanted to be a comic, and I know what I was going to do. I was like, you're like 18, 19 years old, and I remember one time I went to the parking lot and I saw one side of the parking lot had like really nice cars, and one side had really like bad like pieces of POS, piece up. Beep,
And
right?
those are the DJs.
Exactly. And I was like, do I want to be a DJ? I mean, I don't want to like live my life like that, but you know, so I didn't know which way I was going to go.
Right.
And I got into comedy. I started writing ideas down and writing jokes, and I got the instant gratification because, as you know, on the radio, I mean, this is great. This is a party. There's a bunch of people here. We're in Los Angeles, but Fresno overnight, like 1990. It'd be like you'd have to make up things just to get the phones to ring, and so we like B90. I'd be like, can I say the name of the station? B95, Fresno's Killer B.
Oh, wow.
Call my B lines now. We call the phone lines B lines. Ooh, you got stung. You know, stuff like that.
Let's remember that. Ouch. Got our B-lines.
And so I'd go like this. I'd make up some name. I'd be like, Sheila in Visalia wants to hear 2 Live Crews, Me So Horny. And if you're horny, call now. And then I would just look at the phone and be like, oh wait, no one's looking.
Nothing,
Crickets.
right?
Yeah.
Poor guys would call.
And the cow. The cow was out too. Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? So you got started thinking about stand-up. And
Yes.
where did you first do your first stand-up?
First stand-up was in my hometown of Fresno, California, which is it's a funny town in itself because even the airport, it's a Fresno Air Terminal.
They have
So
an
you-
airport?
Yeah, they do.
Wow.
They do. So Fresno Air Terminal, your bag tag will say "fat" on it. Fresno Air Terminal. So right when you land there, you're walking around and fat. I'm fat.
You're already being body shamed by the city.
Yes.
That's not good.
Yeah, I know. You know, yeah, it's crazy. You're being body shamed by the city. You're just being there. You're being shamed. You know.
Wow. So and then what was there a club? Was there a comedy club in Fresno?
Yeah, there was 2. There was one called Midtown Comedy Club, which is right by the railroad tracks. And so, like, during your set, like, the train would go, and it would shake the building. So
That's what I'm always looking for, though, is a building shaking
like a
comedy
bit.
set.
Yeah, if you could time if you could look, hey, what time do the trains run, see?
Yeah.
And have your big ta-da
Yeah, that was
moment.
me. That was me.
But I remember one time, because I was emceeing back then, I was the opening act, and I remember, like, this headliner, he's really bitter and angry, and I come off stage and he...
Wait a minute, a comedian who was bitter and angry?
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember that one. Yeah, exactly. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wrote down, I guess he counted every time I said the F word. And he handed me a piece of
Wow.
paper and he goes, and it said 17 Fs. And then
Sounds like my report card. Come on, guys.
hey, I love it. So fast. And then he goes, 17 Fs. And I felt so bad. And then I told my buddy about it and he goes, you should have said like, oh yeah, here's 18.
Yeah, right.
F you.
Well,
Yeah.
so all right, so you worked that club, and then what was the other one?
The other one was called the Athenian Restaurant, and it was a Greek restaurant, and it was tough because the owner of the club also was an AM radio talk show, so his audience was very conservative radio, so his audience was older and like, you know,
And you couldn't get the cow to get in.
yeah. So, and I was like 20, so I was like 21. I don't even think I was 21 yet. And I remember like, you know, I'd be on stage like, gee guys, don't you hate it when you're making a prank phone call and your mom's behind you and you're all busted? Bombing, no one's laughing. And I started rapping back then. Kermit the Frog, I'm covered in green. Miss Piggy is fat. That's FAT, but it's my prerogative. You know, and all this kind of stuff. You know I mean,
How did you not kill with that?
I was
material?
I was a kid, so it was funny to people my age and younger.
Yeah.
And then I'd go up there and just bomb. And then like I remember like what I say older comedians, you know, dudes that were over 30, they'd go up and just destroy by relating to the audience. They'd be like, yeah, so I was golfing today, and people were like, yeah, you know. So my ex-wife, also known as plaintiff, yeah, you know. And then
Yeah, the old plaintiff show.
yeah, I'd have to go back up there and do my thing, and you know, it was tough.
I like the Kermit rap. All right, it's really good to have you on the show. You got your stories ready? We got to talk about the Banquet Story and the gun story.
Oh yeah, and can I plug my podcast?
No, of course you can. Darren Carter, we're coming back. Fraser
Pocket
Smith Show.
Party Podcast.
There you go. Coming back after this. All right, the Rock Southern California, 95.5 KLOS. Fraser Smith here on the Fraser Smith Show. Joining us is the comedian Darren Carter, the party starter.
That's right, host of the Pocket Party Podcast.
That's right, Ed. I was on that podcast.
You've done it 3 times, and you're always good on there. You're always good.
Thank you.
You're quick-witted, and you have great stories.
The problem is that the ratings drop. But that's also something I'm good at, apparently. I did have fun on there. Last time I rapped, remember that?
Yeah. There was a song by, is it Kool
Kool
Mo
Mo
D?
D?
Kool Mo D.
Yeah. Do you do that on your station a lot or no?
No, I mean, I never, but that's the only
Can you
rap
give him
song.
like a little tiny sample, like 30 seconds or 20 seconds?
Yeah. Throw my tape on, then I'll watch you. 3 seconds later, I got you, shaking your head, dancing instead. The beat kicks, the rhyme's hitting like a home run, slamming like a slam dunk. Ride the wave, the James Brown pay funk, happened to James like it happened to me. How do you think it feels to see another MC get paid? using my rep. Sorry.
Yeah, baby.
That was amazing.
I could go on and on. The cows love it.
That's good, Frank.
That's really big in Fresno.
Yeah, it is, yeah. People are riding me like a pony. I'm no phony. I'm the only real macaroni playing the mic like it's supposed to be played. You jocks, y'all should have stayed out of the business. What is this? Amateur night at the Apollo? Get off the stage. I'm enraged. I feel like a lion trapped inside of a cage. I'm the real king.
Roar.
Sorry. I don't know.
Can I just tell you how easy it is to do radio with Frage? Because, you know, as a comic, we go on the road, we go to these towns, and I was somewhere recently, and they weren't giving me any love, man. You're trying to get that fan, you're trying to spark the, you know, fan the flames to get something going, and it's just like, ugh. There's nothing worse than bombing early in the morning on radio, because they're just looking at you, and you're just like...
Yeah,
So
well, sometimes though, yeah, I think sometimes the morning DJs try to compete with the talent instead of letting them do their thing.
Yeah,
Right?
and I don't mind, like,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
whatever, but yeah.
Like,
So,
Well-
you think this guy's funny? Watch this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
know, it's like...
All right, so a couple stories. We don't have to. These aren't about, you know, you don't have to remember the punchlines or anything. But
Okay.
I thought they were really interesting stories.
Yeah.
You're doing a gig up north, I believe,
Yeah.
and you stopped in at a restaurant.
Oh yeah, okay. That one, yeah, that's not really even a bit, but it's a true story.
Yeah.
So I was, you know, I was up north, actually, once again in my hometown of Fresno.
Yeah.
But, and so I had breakfast with my aunt and uncle the next day. I'm like, you know, I'll have breakfast, I'll get on the freeway, come back to LA, but it'll be nice to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I go to the restroom and to wash my hands, and I was like, oh, I might as well use the restroom. I had some coffee, and I go to lock the stall, and I look down, and I see a gun. I don't know what kind of gun it is, but it was this black gun, and it was right there on top of the toilet paper dispenser. And I was like, whoa! Like I didn't want to touch it. I was afraid it would go off. So I remember, I was like, okay, let me make sure no one's in the bathroom. No one was in the bathroom. I prop open the door, and I saw this busboy walk by, and I go, excuse me, hey, come here. I said, is your manager around? And he goes, what's going on? Is the toilet overflowed? I go, no, but I want to show him something. I know. I think
That just sounds bad. Yeah.
Get back! Come on, no. Yeah, exactly. Like I know.
I'm very proud.
Yeah. I'm very proud.
Yeah.
It's a good day for me today. No,
Yeah.
but the manager comes in, and the manager saw it, and I go, look at that stall. Look what's in there. And I was all nervous and stuff, you know. And he was probably nervous too. Like, where's he going?
Yeah,
with
where's
this?
he going with that?
So he goes, oh man. He goes, give me some paper towels. So I give him some paper towels, and he covered the thing with paper towels. And he goes, and he picked it up so there's no fingerprints. And he goes, I'm gonna go put it somewhere safe, like my office. I'm like, all right, cool, you know.
Probably
And so,
is.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't know who's. He said, oh man, I was so stoned, I forgot I left it there. So I go back to the table, right, with my aunt and uncle, and
We ride the streets.
we run the streets. We're not scared of nothing. So I call my buddy, who I'm thinking, do I know any cops? I'm like, well, I know Eric Estrada, you know, from Chips.
Yeah.
And Eric is, you know, I did a benefit show with Eric like earlier that month. So
I was on the same show.
remember? So
Yeah.
so it was Eric, and then there's another. There was another cop. His name's Daryl. He's friends with Eric. So I'm like, well, let me call Daryl. I go, hey Daryl, I'm at this breakfast place in Fresno. I found a gun in the stall. And he goes, what did you do? And I go, I told the manager, and he goes, you need to get the heck out of there. And
Really?
I go, really? I go, why? And he goes, and he also said, you should call the cops. Don't just let this guy's, you know, because you don't know what's going on there. Like, and you're a witness, this and that. I was like, really? Okay. So I hang up, and I'm trying to tell my aunt and uncle what happened. And my aunt, she's like, who did you call? Like, Punch from Chips? I'm like, no, that's an actor. This is a real cop. And he wants us to leave right now. And she's like, well, I just ordered an omelet.
Uh-oh.
And so anyways, long story short, the cops took care of it. And yeah, but it was weird finding a gun. And then, of course, I go to the Comedy Store that night, and I asked people on the patio, what would you guys do? And they're like, I would have sold it. I would have grabbed it. I would have took
sure.
it. Yeah.
It's a comedy show.
I could
Yeah.
have seen Darren walking into the restaurant waving it. Is this belong to anybody?
Exactly.
Whose is this?
I'm surprised you didn't put it in the act.
I know.
Well, you know what?
Let's start a party.
I'm glad you found my gun. All right, Darren Carter's with us. One more break? Come on, we got to get the Banquet Story ready. 95.5 KLOS, Fraser Smith Show. All right, we just got to tell the Banquet Story and we're done. Okay?
Cool. All right.
Very cool.
Cool. The Banquet Story? Okay.
You know, that's the one where you put
Yeah,
your head through the thing and.
I'll be surprised because I don't remember it either.
Oh, it's a great story, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
good
Thank you.
job.
Thank you.
How was my rap?
Very good.
Wow.
That was awesome.
Especially so spontaneous with no fucking prep or anything.
I know.
Unless you were fucking practicing in the car on the way over here or something.
Oh, yeah. Just in case I had do some rapping.
Yeah. So you have more guests coming on. You got a lot.
Yeah.
How long does this go? Till 3?
Yeah, 3.
Wow, that's cool.
But it's great to have you on, and I love your stories. And let's plug anything you got going on.
Okay.
You know.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh man, you're great.
Yeah.
And I love you going up at the Monday night show at the Comedy Store. You're just great. You bring the energy up when you come on, man. In that room.
Thank you. Yeah, it's true, right?
Yeah. That room is a tough room sometimes, and it can get a little bit, just kind of, flat.
Yeah.
And then when you get up there, you bring everybody back up. It's amazing.
Man.
Yeah, that's a tribute to you.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And they love it.
Yeah.
Because it's something fresh for them, They love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
This guy's a rocker. Did you ever have long hair?
I did.
You did? How long did you let your hair grow?
Well, until I got the Flowbee. Now,
I've never had long hair, but I do remember clearly when I would swim and I'd pop up and my hair would be in my face, covering my eyes.
did that bug you?
Well, it did, but then it's funny. Then when you get the receding hairline, you can just pop right up and not have to move. You know what I mean?
There are some advantages, yeah.
Marco Polo, I see you.
Yeah. All right, Fraser Smith Show. Joining us, Darren Carter, the party starter, the really talented comedian. And you can plug your stuff in just a minute, but I want to hear the Banquet Story. This is one of your first stand-up
One of my
gigs.
first early entertainment
paid
gigs. It's funny. I thank you. I must have made you laugh so hard on this because every couple of years you're like, tell me that story again.
I love the story.
And I don't remember exactly how it went, but I just remember somebody offered me let's just say $300, and they're like, hey, listen, it's $300, and at the time I lived in San Diego for about a year, and they're like, it's going to be in La Jolla. And I'm like, oh, perfect, I'll do that. And I'll go to the Comedy Store, do a set. And I remember they paid us to go to this buffet table, right? And they'd give you a pillow so your knees wouldn't hurt. And then you'd stick your head through the hole on the table. They actually there was holes in this table, and then you'd be on this pillow so your knees wouldn't hurt. And then they have a platter on top of your head.
I would have worried as soon as they put me on my knees.
I know, exactly. Yeah. I'm getting.
How do you think you got the gig? Come on, folks.
It's like whack-a-mole, bam, bam, get it. Right? And so I remember they would. I think the idea was that they would lift the lid
to get some food, and then you're under there telling jokes.
And you're like, hi! And you're supposed to scare them. Try the veal. Anybody here like head cheese? And so I think that worked for a little while, and then they realize you're in there, and so then they just let us take the platter off.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm just sitting there and I'm watching people go by, and I'm like, gosh, this is humiliating, but I'm like, it's $300. I've only got to do this for an hour,
My knees are killing me.
My knees are killing me. The pillow, and then the worst part is
That wasn't
the worst part.
No, believe it or not.
So you got to remember, this is oh gosh, I must have been about, let's just say 24. All right.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea of time. So I'm doing this, and I'm like, this is embarrassing, blah blah blah. People are trying to touch you and poke your nose and just be funny. They're drunk. I got recognized by a girl I went to high school with.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to have a crush on her, and it was and I saw her, and she's like, "Oh my, Darren, is that you?" And I was like, "Oh hey," and she's like, "Oh my God, so how are things going?"
Well.
And I was like, "Oh, it's great. I'm doing stand-up now, and I'm trying to play it off like things are going really well."
trying to get ahead.
I'm just trying to get ahead. Yeah, that's good. I should say that.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it was some weird, awkward small talk, and I'm like, "Hey, I'll be at the Comedy Store. Come see me." And she's like, "All right." And I never heard from her again. It was
Well,
so
of course
embarrassing.
not.
I know.
I mean, that's hilarious, though.
I know.
Just your luck.
Just my luck.
The girl
man.
you had a crush on. And
I
there you
know.
go,
I know.
Under the.
Well, yeah. The good news is there was several, so it wasn't like the girl, but still.
No, but still, that's an embarrassing and hilarious story.
Yes. And thanks for reminding me, Frage.
Okay. Let's quickly plug your stuff. You got.
Oh
one
yeah,
coming?
I have my YouTube channel. Please check it out. I put up videos every week, sometimes 4 or 5 videos.
They're great. They're awesome.
Thank you. YouTube.com/Darren Carter, DARREN. You'll see my YouTube channel, Darren Carter. And my podcast is called Pocket Party, and it's inspirational, motivational, and I like to add light to the world. And with Fraser's help, he's been on a few times, and I love having him, man.
There
Great
goes the
stories.
light to the world.
Very Brody Stevens.
Yeah.
Pocket Party. Brody, I talk with Brody. that week. He had me at his apartment for 5 hours. We talked.
Wow.
He's, to my knowledge, one of the last interviews that he did, and
Jeez.
he was great, man. We sat down and check it out. Brody Stevens episode. Yes,
I want to check that out.
I want to say episode 47 or 48. Yeah.
Man, great to see you, buddy.
Thank you, Fraser.
All right, I'll see you at the banquet.
Positive energy.
Table 5. All right, thank you, Darren Carter, the party starter. Fraser Smith Show, 95.5 KLOS.
We're done with this interview.